Welcome back to another week and another episode of Major League Soccer Cafe. I'm super happy to be here. We have a lot to talk about today.
The most games, because this episode is going to be entailing last week's games and then also this midweek. So there is a bunch of game, guys, like over 20 games that we have to cover, essentially.
Exactly. A lot happened. A lot of good and a lot of bad, which I feel like we should go straight to the notable news to really dive into this.
Should we straight into it?
Yeah. Okay, the Haslam family first saved the crew. Now they are trying to destroy them. Is this not the worst thing that has ever happened in Columbus?
Dude, it sucks, man. Again, it just sucks all around. They changed the logo. Not only that, if they changed the logo, I'd be fine with that. Just changing up a little bit. You know, every single team has went through that period, except basically the New England Revolution. Every, original 10 team has went through a rebrand in the logo. But the name, man, why would they change the name? It's one of the most historic in the league. First team in Major League Soccer, and now they're going to ruin it, man. Just doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing. I'm actually going to pull a point from somebody else. I believe Eli Lesser was the one who actually said something along these lines, and I can't agree with him more. Now, again, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but Eli Lesser stated how the MLS really wants to get names more like FC and SC United to identify more with like the soccer/football community and world. Meanwhile, the most famous Major League Soccer team is the Galaxy. The most famous team in North America is the LA Galaxy.
And they have a cool name.
Yeah, so what's going to happen? Are they going to change the name of LA Galaxy to LASC because we already have LAFC? It sounds ridiculous because it is ridiculous. This is a great thing the crew had going on. The Columbus Crew, ideally, were an incredible name, incredible colors, incredible logo. They changed it the first time in 2014, and we love the rebrand there. If anything, that was one of the best rebrands I've ever seen. It was just a little alternation, but you should have saw this coming when they went from the Columbus Crew to the Columbus Crew SC. It's always been there. They've just been hiding it. And that logo aside, I mean, it's not even the name. I mean, dismantling the name was a horrible thing.
For me, that's
but just looking at the logo, what is that little nub at the bottom of that logo? The whole thing is a disaster. I can do something better than that, and I've never touched like Photoshop in my life.
Yeah, man, again, it's bad all around, but for me, the biggest thing is the name, because people call them, they don't even call them Columbus Crew, they just call them the Crew. That's how they're known as, and now you're just going to erase that from their existence and call them Columbus SC, one of the most boring names in the book. And I actually have a quote here from former Columbus Crew legend Justin Merrim. He said this on Twitter right here. He said, "This makes 0.0000 sense. The history of the club is what's most important, not another rebrand. Everyone in Columbus loves the Columbus Crew fist emoji." And I couldn't agree with that more. Again, it's historic, man. It's the first club in existence, and you're going to ruin it like that. You saved the crew, now you're going to ruin the crew.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out what the Columbus Crew fist emoji was, and then I just understand what you meant there, that he had a fist emoji.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking, I'm like, what the hell is a Columbus Crew fist emoji? Because that sounds ridiculously awesome, whatever that is. Now, here's my theory. A lot of people are saying the C on the new logo stands for Columbus. Other people saying it's paying homage to the crew. I think it stands for children because it looks like a child designed it. It's a joke. The whole thing's a joke.
It is a joke,
And is this just going to be the thing now? Like, is every team just going to rebrand like this? If the Columbus Crew did after winning a cup, every team is going to do this. Who's next?
I didn't think it could get worse after Chicago. Then Montreal stepped in, and they even went one step lower. And now Columbus just took the cake for the worst rebrand. And probably, I would say, soccer history, or just sports history in general, because that sucks, man. And again, they worked so hard to save, they saved the franchise. Their hashtag was really Save the Crew. That was what they were basing off the whole entire thing, was Save the Crew. Now you're going to get rid of the name. Now you're going to ruin the crew. And now they have a new stadium. I can't see fans really showing up to this new stadium. I think they're going to boycott it.
After a while, they will. I mean, you can boycott anything as much as you want, but once you boycott, tickets are going to go down in price. People are still going to show up. Eventually, management will win. I mean, that's just how things work. But with that being said, it's just we all hate it. Everybody hates it.
Yeah,
but they're not going to do anything about it because if they just turn their backs now on this new direction they're taking, what does that do?
Doesn't do too much. Again, I feel like it's negative all around. I say we go to some positive energy here.
Okay.
And let's talk about the USL a little bit. Two big names coming over from the USL is Rubio Rubin, who I want to say Ruben because that's how it's spelled. So.
It should be Ruben. We said this before. I think we said this last week, actually. It should be Ruben.
It should be. And then also Tyler Pasher, both of them coming over from the USL. Two big names, and they're killing it. So now that begs the question. Is the USL a good league to have players take the step from the USL, the lower division in American soccer, to Major League Soccer?
Well, here's the thing. I've said a long time ago, and I know a lot of other people said this, that the MLS should have bought out the USL and kind of make that the subdivision of Major League Soccer. In a way, it kind of is already. There'd be too many steps, and this is going to take too long for us to go into detail here right now. We don't have enough time for that. Maybe we'll make a sub-episode just for that. But overall, but I don't even remember what your question was. Oh, is it a good league? Yeah, you're like, is it a good league? I just went off there. Yes, I think the USL is a overlooked league. I think there's great teams, and I think there's great fans that really would wish they had more of a platform. Like, look at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, right, in the USL. Great team. Great team. And what is it, the Vegas Lights? Is that the name?
Yep.
I think it's the Vegas Lights. Yeah. Great teams, great fan. Attendance is great. It's just they don't have any kind of attention in the national light. And that's because, well, Major League Soccer dominates that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like, a market that MLS teams have to strive to pick up these players because they're super cheap. You know, Tyler Pasher, he was so cheap coming from Indy 11, and now he's lighting up with Houston. Same thing, Rubio Rubin. Again, 3 goals, 2 assists in the first, 4 games of the season. It's insane, bro. And
that's why I always say Phoenix. And just on the side note, Phoenix rising, now with Sacramento Republic FC dropping out of the MLS bid. This is a perfect time for Phoenix to step it up. Phoenix rising, Phoenix arrived. We said it once and we'll say it again.
Yeah, I feel like Phoenix is the perfect squad. Again,
I think so too.
There is no team really in that area. There's a lot of Cali teams, but none in Arizona and none in New Mexico. So I feel like that would be perfect.
I feel like it's the ideal place for a soccer team. And guess what? They already have one. And guess what? It's ideal.
And should we talk about one of the ideal places to stream? ESPN Plus?
Yes, ESPN Plus for sure.
You guys probably heard it. They got the rights to La Liga. It was actually announced on Thursday, which is the day that we're actually recording this.
Yes, so this was brand new news. We had to rewrite this.
Like literally an hour ago.
We had to rethink this.
Yeah, they acquired the rights to La Liga. Obviously, Serie A isn't going to be next year with ESPN+, but I feel like La Liga is perfect. Again, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, 3 of, you could say, the biggest clubs in the world, and they're coming to America.
Yeah, they
are.
So
I feel like it's perfect, man.
I think it's awesome. I really like it.
And
I like
did you see the ad?
Did I see the what?
The advertisement that they
I
played?
actually didn't. I know. Listen, everyone's been tweeting me about it and DMing me about it. I haven't actually seen it yet. You want to say what it is?
Yeah, man. Yunus Musa was in it. Serginho Dest. They're just talking about it. But I feel like Yunus Musa's part was kind of cringy because you could tell like he didn't really want to be there, but he was. Actually, no, it wasn't him. It was the dude that he was with did not want to be there at all. He was just kind of like cheering him up a little bit with that big smile that he has. But it just wasn't doing it for me.
Side note, I think Serginho Dest is the 3rd most valuable USMNT player right now. Number 1 is Pulisic, really bringing in the dough. And there's like a large margin between 1st and 2nd because then you have McKinney. And I think Serginho Dest is number 3 on the pay scale right now.
Oh, for their salaries?
Yeah.
It might be. I know for value, Gio Reyna is definitely up there. Top 3.
Gio Reyna was up there too. Yeah, I think Reyna actually, maybe I'm mixing him up.
Yeah, I look at the salaries too much. But again, we're killing it, man, the USMNT. And with that, should we go into Who Spilt the Beans?
Let's spill them.
Who Spilt the Beans?
Okay, the first major spillage of beans has to once again go to the Columbus Crew. I said it again. I'm going to do it again because I keep saying the same thing, right? Sorry.
I'm going to say it's a bean bonanza. So say the first spiller of beans, I'll say a bean bonanza.
Okay. The first spiller of beans is a bean.
Sorry. Wait, I got to say it.
I didn't even do that. Right? The first spiller of beans.
A true bean bonanza, you could say.
Yes. Columbus Crew, again. And this time, they're fans, but I don't know if I'm buying this. I haven't seen anything. I believe it, but I don't know. Allegedly, fans are harassing members of the front office and their family about this rebrand, which it's not their fault. But hey, we got to get the message across somehow.
Yeah, I haven't, they're talking about it, but I haven't seen it on Twitter or anywhere or Instagram, so I think it's just a ruse, man. I think it's a farce.
Yeah, so, I think it's a scare tactic.
I think just some people are kind of soft, you know?
Yeah, I think some people are definitely soft and just bothered by everything, but this is something that should bother people.
Now, the opposite of soft, should we go hard right now?
Okay, sure.
A player who always plays hard every single game, Joseph Martinez. Yes. Did you hear what he had to say about his goal after the game?
Yes, and before we even say this, all I'm going to give you is some warning here. An angry Joseph is the worst kind of Joseph.
It is. This is what he said, everybody. He said, Chicharito scores and people think he's a big-time player. I score and it's the defender's fault. I totally agree with him. I feel like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. You know, again, Chicharito does deserve all the praise he gets. You know, he was at one point one of the best strikers in the league. You know, if you look at his output in the EPL, it's up there with the best because he was a super sub. He didn't play too many minutes, but he scored a bunch of goals. But with that being said, I feel like this quote was justified. I feel like Joseph Martinez, you know, he doesn't get the respect he deserves in the league. And when he finally scores, they said that it was Shawcross's fault.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, I feel like since Joseph Martinez has come back, he's been getting a lot of criticism. And of course, yes, everybody's going to go through some criticism along the way, but I feel like what he's done for the league in general, people should lay off a little bit. I mean, coming back from all that injury, that time off, and now just trying to get adjusted in this new coach's system, it's tough. You know, the game is constantly improving. There's more talent coming over every single season. I think anytime that a player gets criticized, listen, it's part of the game. You know that when you're signing your contract, but overall, do you agree with him?
Well, I feel like the biggest point of criticism isn't on the field, it's what's on his dome. You see that pink locks that he's repping right now?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I love it when the player kind of switches it up and does something a little crazy with their flow. But I'm not really feeling the pinky on the brain.
Me neither. Like, I do like pink, but on the head, I feel like that's one place it doesn't belong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it looks good. It doesn't fit him. I think it's strange. I'm going to be honest. I don't really like it.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it. You know, I don't want to come off like kind of like douchey, but I think it just kind of looks stupid. I don't like it.
I definitely like this flow better when
I like
he
the
was
flow.
rocking the blonde and everything. And now he cut it short and everything. So I'm not liking it one bit. And then also, should we go to the last part of Who Spilt the Beans?
Before we get there, just to show how much we care about flow, we actually just put an article out on thebenchkings.com about the best players of all time in Major League Soccer. Number 10 was Carlos Valderrama.
The amazing flow. Not only on the head, but on the lip, man.
Yeah, incredible stash, incredible head of hair. And his wife had an incredible head of hair, too. They were like twinning. But overall, just saying, just to show you, we're not hating on him, on Joseph, for, trying to do something a little different with his hair. We just didn't like it. He tried it. I respect he tried it. But now it's time to shave it.
That's just our opinion, guys. Don't get mad. But one player that we should be getting mad about, I feel like all of us, is Jose Martinez. Again, we talked about in the last episode when he elbowed Castellanos. Now, there was some more information about it, a little update about the situation.
Yes, I have it over here too.
Yeah, he has been awarded, you could say, 2 more games suspended. So now 3 in total. The disciplinary committee.
Do you think he just wanted that? Like, do you think he just doesn't want to play for the team? So he's just like, I'm just going to keep getting myself out of this game.
Well, I'm thinking, if you're a professional player, you don't have to play any games, and you're getting paid for free.
That's what I'm saying.
The thing, though,
I'm just going to sit home and play some Xbox now.
Exactly. He was fined, though, still under close fee, but I feel like it had to be for a good amount, man.
Yeah, probably.
He rocked Hattie's dome, to another dimension of the stratosphere.
And that's the thing. I was very, very shocked when that happened because, honestly, again, we're NYCFC fans primarily. We do have a very unbiased look. We try to really root for a lot of teams, too, like we're big Colorado guys. But overall, during that game, I remember seeing Toddy go down. And I remember thinking, like, just because, again, we're NYCFC fans, we can say this, like, come on, Toddy, get up. Don't do this again. Stop rolling around. Get up. And then they showed the replay. And I'm like, this guy just died. Like, he got hit pretty hard. So I think the punishment to him was very justified.
12-6 elbow, man. Clockwork,
Yeah.
Just like that, Toddy was down. And 3-game suspension for him, rightfully so.
I'm very for that. And I'm really happy to see that.
Me as well. Should we go straight into Mocha Madness Plays of the Week?
Mocha Madness Plays of the Week is up next.
Mocha Madness Plays of the Week.
Oh my God. Rubio Rubin with the bean blast. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was a bicycle kick midair. It was like BMX without a goddamn bike. They did lose to the Quakes that night, but overall, San Jose has looked good, first of all. Rubio Rubin playing like a mean bean, looking like the man on the pitch. What a goal. This is one of the best goals I've seen all year.
The baked bean, fantastic. Again, bicycle. It was such a smooth motion, too. Like, he didn't even hit the ground hard. Like, most of the time you see on bicycle kicks, somebody just crashes down on the ground. Yeah. This time he hit it so smoothly, it's like he wasn't even hurt. He was
like a figure skater. I mean, he landed with such an elegant landing. I felt like I was watching Blades of Glory.
It was amazing.
It was incredible.
And again, 3 goals, 2 assists on the season. He's absolutely killing Rubio Rubin from the USL. And I kind of feel bad for Bobby. Bobby's supposed to be starting. He's supposed to be the starting number 9 for RSL.
Bobby Wood.
But unfortunately, Rubio Rubin is heating up at the right moment.
Yeah, once again, that's 5 points in 3 games. I mean, this is forcing Wood out. Wood's getting chopped, moving on to the second goal.
Which definitely can't top the first one,
No, it can't.
But it's also very good as well.
It's a good nominee.
Emmanuel Reynoso with a very clean free kick. Again, the one thing he's probably the best at in the league is free kicks. Ever since Giovinco left the league, he kind of took over in that position, in that aspect. And it was a beautiful free kick indeed. Again, if you're watching us on video, it's up on your screen right now. Amazing kick. And unfortunately, though, did you see that game? They're up 2-0.
Yes. You can't have that happen.
Again, the most, you could say, difficult position in sports is a 2-0 lead. And then they lose 3-2 against the Colorado Rapids. What's up with that?
Now, that's definitely something, like you said, the 2-0 lead. I mean, it's cursed, it's plagued, and look what happened. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, personally, for me, I was happy with the outcome because that's who I was rooting for that night. But overall, you can't let that happen, especially after you have a Mocha Madness Play of the Week.
Would you say that comeback from Colorado was a Mocha Splash?
A Mocha Splash.
Mocha Splash that right here. And again, Minnesota, it was like deja vu. First losing to Seattle 3-2, and they had a 2-0 lead in the playoffs last year. I thought it couldn't be done again, and they proved me wrong.
They did it again.
It happened.
You can't have that happen.
A double in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And should we head over to Americano Espresso?
Americano Espresso.
Americano Espresso.
We are here, everybody. Americano Espresso, and I gotta talk about Daryl Dike. I feel like we talk about him almost in every single episode, but this one's different. He actually got a huge achievement here. He was awarded the Fans PFA Player of the Month for April. Even the fans know how good he is. And in England as well, there's a lot of Euro snobs, but they have to admit that he is a great player. One of the best Americans right now. He's super hot. Again, 9 goals, 19 games for Barnsley. He absolutely killing it with that team ever since he came over, and I feel like he's definitely going to get way more awards.
Yeah, I mean, Daryl Dike is definitely a player of his time. I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal, and as a USA native, obviously we all are, and I hope most of you listening to this are too. You gotta love Daryl Dike. What's not to love about him? He's absolutely phenomenal. He's an incredible player, and he's just a cool guy to watch. He's a cool guy to know, and we actually did an interview, I believe was it Brett Horsley who roomed with him?
Well, he didn't room with him, but he played with him at the University of Virginia.
That's right. I mean, he had nothing but positive things to say about Daryl.
He's an absolute beast, and he's a super nice guy. A gentle giant, textbook gentle giant, man.
And talking about, I guess, gentle people. Maybe gentle, maybe not. That's a weird transition. But let's talk about Zach Steffen. Okay? First American-born player to win this award.
The EPL title,
Incredible.
man. Again, he's been playing very good this season, but he hasn't been getting too many minutes. He only played, I believe, 1 game in the EPL this season. But still, just being on that team, such a stacked Man City team, and being a backup goalie for Ederson, that's got to be an accomplishment in itself.
I mean, it's not like if Pulisic won, it's not like headlines like that, but still, this is the first guy to do something like this. So, I mean, just that in its own is just a major accomplishment.
There's a first for everything. And there's also a first for this. Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley have both been left off of the provisional squad for the Nations League. Again, there was 40 players, I believe, that are in the provisional squad, and both of them weren't in it, which is a good sight to see if you're a USMNT fan.
Now, here's something else quick before we transition here. Didn't they both score in the same game the other night too with Toronto?
They did.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Who saw that coming? What was the betting odds on that? Who looked at that game and was just like, you know what? Those two. Like, who would have thought?
I think Josie made a deal with the devil.
I think it did. My thoughts on Josie. If you guys haven't, go check out episode 1, 2, and 3.
Just look at any single episode that we do, and you guys will know our thoughts about Josie
find us on
Altidore.
any social media. Check out the YouTube. Listen to the podcast. You'll hear our thoughts on Josie Altidore.
When I saw that, I was like, normally Google's wrong with the formations. I thought Google was wrong with the score sheet, but apparently it wasn't because they both scored, man.
I wonder if anybody has them on their fantasy team.
Like, I'm kind of in a weird dilemma. Is that like a major Stokeage or like what?
It's major confusion for starters. I don't know. It's definitely not Stokeage. It's not really a disappointment. I don't know what I would call that.
I don't know either. It just confuses my mind.
It really shatters my dome.
It does as well.
I don't like it.
And should we go to something that we do like, though?
Yes, I think we should transition over to a major Stokeage.
Well, one more thing. This is a big thing, too.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So, if you guys don't know what futsal is, it's basically with the mini ball inside. I used to play as a kid. I actually loved it. It's very good to work on your foot skills.
Where are you going with this? I actually don't know.
Well, the U.S. qualified for the Futsal World Cup the first time since 2008, which is huge. Again, we couldn't make the World Cup, but we can make the Futsal World Cup, and that's all that matters.
That's in some people's eyes, that's even bigger.
And I think it's also going to be playing on FS1 and FS2 and like on mainstream television, which is awesome.
Are we live streaming this? Are we live streaming Futsal?
Well, yeah, if it's on like cable, man, I'm definitely live streaming it.
I think we're going to live stream this. Everybody tuning in to the Benchkings YouTube channel.
Just to be honest, I really do like watching futsal. Like even like beach soccer as well is awesome. It's on FS1 during the summer. Like I like watching that stuff.
I gathered this far over my head. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, man, me neither. I didn't even know there was a Futsal World Cup, to be honest, until I saw I was like on Twitter. I was like, wait, we qualified, man? Like I didn't even know what was going on.
Oh, I was going to say, like, I didn't know this thing was a thing, but I didn't want to seem dumb. So I'm happy that we both feel dumb now.
Well, yeah, I didn't realize there was like a World Cup. Like I knew there was like a futsal league and everything, but
who watches it? Do you think it's like really old guys or like really little kids?
It depends.
Like who's cheering for this? Like who's getting pissed off when somebody misses like a goal?
I don't know, dude. That's a good question
You know what I mean?
because
Like who's breaking their TVs and like just going in their room and yelling at their wife?
we'll see. Once it goes on, we'll see the cable ratings and we'll see what they are.
Probably not high.
Probably, yeah. I would say
Probably
MLS
either
is
not
higher.
high or really high. It's somewhere in
Astronomically
between.
high.
Now, who plays this? Is this like,
Well,
do they
I
have
know-
its like own league and stuff?
well, it's the World Cup, so nations, abroad, kind of like playing like a real World Cup.
I don't know how
just,
old they are. Is there like a draft? Like, do you think there's like a futsal draft?
What do you mean?
Like, how's this work?
It's just the World Cup for futsal. We qualified for it. It basically runs like the same thing as a World Cup.
This is insane.
It is
This
insane.
is news to me. I got to look into this. I know what I'm doing after this.
Should we go into now our guest with Evan Newton?
Yes. Yeah, this is our first again. Everybody, this is goalie weekend. First guest was Evan Newton. Check it out. We are now being joined with a USL legend between the pipes. We are now being joined with goalkeeper Evan Newton. How are you doing? And welcome to MLS Cafe.
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Sorry, my light in the room's twitching. Hopefully that stops in a second. But yeah, I'm good, man. Great to be here.
It's great to have you on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. Again, first question here. For people that don't necessarily know your career and haven't followed you, what's a quick rundown that you would give them from your youth all the way now to the Vancouver Whitecaps in professional soccer?
Yeah, the quick rundown would be, I guess, obviously played club growing up, and then tried out for ODP. So when I was growing up, ODP was the big way to get seen. Now it's like the academy and everything, but we didn't have that. So tried out for ODP at like age 12 or whatever, and then just kind of fortunate. I made it, over the years to the national team. Went to residency program that they used to have. I was there for 2 years. Then went to Old Dominion University, played there for my college career, and then got drafted MLS to Houston Dynamo. Played there for a season. Then went to San Jose Earthquakes for a couple seasons, and then I left the MLS because I felt like I needed to play and kind of build a career and show what I could do. And so then I left, and I've been around to a few clubs over the years. Thankfully, pretty much all of them have been my choice to leave. So it's been like kind of for the career. But I've been fortunate to have opportunities to go to some really good USL clubs, or kind of a lot of the clubs when they were at their prime. Thankfully I was fortunate to be there. Kind of a lot of the clubs when they're in their like heyday. So that was a blessing. And then just kind of wait for the right time to make the move back. And this opportunity came. I felt like it was right. I had a couple opportunities over the years, but it just didn't feel like they were right, at the time that they happened. And this one felt right. And so now I'm here in Vancouver.
Yeah, and you were talking about growing up when you first started that statement. Now, many kids growing up play a variety of different sports. And if they're lucky enough, and hopefully we hope that they start off in soccer, many of them don't start as a goalkeeper. They don't choose that position at first. They're playing a variety of different positions. For you, did you start off as a goalkeeper, or was there a time in your life, obviously very young, that you were playing a different position?
Yeah, I started off playing I would play center midfield for the first half, and then the second half I'd play in goal. So
Versatile. That's good.
yeah, so I mean, I'm thankful, like I've always really enjoyed the field. It's funny because anytime growing up I played pickup, or we got the small goals out and played like little 4v4s and stuff, 5v5s. I never played in goal. Obviously with the small goals, there's no goalkeepers, but even like small sided pickups and stuff, I always played in the field. Like I just, goalkeeping I love, but I like doing it for like when it's serious. Otherwise I just like having fun in the field, and then playing center midfield for a lot of my years growing up, really like allowed me to learn the game from the field playing side, not just from the goalkeeping perspective, and then also developed my foot skills. And I think today that's a huge strength of mine, that is being able to play with my feet and play at the back, and I'm I kind of attribute to that. And that's why I'm a huge advocate for players to don't settle down to one position. You can still, like, I still would get private training as a goalkeeper and like do that because I love that, and I kind of knew I was better at that. And then when ODP started, I told myself, all right, now it's just strictly goalkeeping. But even when I was playing the field, I would still train private goalkeeper sessions and do stuff like that. But it's good to see different parts of the field. It's good to see the game from different perspectives, and it's good to kind of challenge your feet and improve your feet. And I would say the same thing for field players, like playing goal a little bit, especially if you're like a forward. Now you know what the goalkeeper's thinking, so you have a better chance at kind of like finishing opportunities because you know what the goalkeeper's thinking when you're in certain situations. So I think
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
I think it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you said you like playing the field. Is there still like a little part of you that wants to just like take the ball and just bang one in yourself?
Yeah, sometimes if it's like tied or we're down a goal at the end of games, I'm back there fantasizing about coming up and scoring the game tying goal. So but no, man, I would love to play in the field. I still, like I said, if we ever played pickup or little fun things, I never put the gloves on. I always play on the field and have fun. But I couldn't run like I suck at running, so that's another. I mean, I would last, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, out there with these guys at these levels. So, it's one of those things. But I always laugh because I think if a field player did a goalkeeper session, they'd be dead after 5-10 minutes as well. So it's two totally different. It's just two totally different like workouts and types of fitness. So.
Yeah, even the mentality too. Like you're saying, know what the goalie's thinking, know what the players are thinking. It's a different mentality too. And that's why, again, you being a goalkeeper, you going onto that field, you already know what the other tendy's thinking.
Right. Like that's like, because I've been in situations, throughout my life, and I've seen the game at different perspectives, and you can kind of know what the forward's thinking in certain situations that can kind of help you out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Now, after that brings me to my next question. After spending, I believe it was 7 years as a starter in the USL and a couple seasons in the MLS as well, you recently signed that deal with the Vancouver Whitecaps, which I believe it was for 2 years. How eager are you to get started with the Caps?
Yeah, man. It's been good so far. Playing, obviously it was tough when the preseason in Vancouver, so I had a quarantine, and that's always difficult. 14 days quarantine is just brutal. So, it took me 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get the body back, to get the legs back, and kind of get back into stride. But ever since then, I've been feeling really good playing well, and it's going to take some patience because obviously I'm new to the team, and they have kind of stuff, certain things in place already. So it's just being patient and waiting for my time. But everybody's been great here. The staff, the players, it's a good group of guys, and I'm just excited to continue to bring what I can to this team, and hopefully get a chance at some point here in the near future, and when I do, hope to make the best of it. But yeah, man, right now it's just being patient and just grinding for now. So.
And again, you're a veteran coming into Whitecaps Nation. You have, I think at the stats here, 178 starts and 56 career shutouts. So with all these games, is there one game that stands out to you? We just had like a phenomenal night where you just played fantastic.
Yeah, no, there's been quite a few nights that stick out, but one game that always comes back is 2015 with Oklahoma, when I was with Oklahoma with the Energy, and we were in the Western Conference semifinal against Colorado Springs. We were at home. I think there's like 8,000, and it was a packed house, and it was loud. Everyone's close to the field, and we went to penalty kicks, and we hit everybody put home their penalty, and I was able to save 2, and then the second one that I saved was the winner. So, and people stormed the field, and I think overall awesome. It was just a really cool year because Oklahoma is not really a place you think of soccer, and the sport kind of like started taking off a little bit, but they didn't do great the first year. And the second year we won the Western Conference regular season, I believe, and we had we were just like, there's such a buzz in the city, and it was just really cool to kind of have that moment in front of the fans, and it was really fun, man. So I mean, there's been a lot of like awesome situations and moments throughout my career. I've been very fortunate, and God willing, many more. But that one always kind of pops in the head first for some reason.
Mm-hmm. And during what you were saying there, you're saying how when you think Oklahoma, you don't really think soccer, and now you're starting to see that more and more. And what's so great with both, the USL and Major League Soccer is it's growing so much now in the States and Canada. And I think it's such an important thing for that to finally be happening, because the States and Canada, they've always had the talent and they've always had the market. It just seemed that it wasn't tapped into in, the most marketable way. And I would say, especially in the last 10 years, it has been growing and growing. And now with expansion in Major League Soccer, it's really been taken off. And the numbers, I think, for opening weekend in Major League Soccer, it was up, 55% since this time last year.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Oh
insane.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's
All
great. It's
like
great.
the viewing numbers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
for
wow,
opening
that's
weekend.
great.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
that's
that's great.
like a huge number. Like 55%. I mean, that's a very
I'm
notable
no
size.
statistician, but yeah, that's a big number right
Yeah.
there. 55%.
But now, looking back at your USL career, I believe it was 2018, you were awarded the Golden Glove Award. On top of that, you were at one point leading, I believe, in saves and shutouts in your career, leaving behind such a legacy. I mean, again, like a USL icon, leaving that behind to now finally hang up the cleats and join Major League Soccer. How hard was it leaving that behind and opening up this next chapter of your career?
Um, I don't want to say hard. I think for me, like I left MLS, 7 years ago with a purpose to get back in, but in a position where I would compete to play and I would be respected and like actually have a chance to, I feel like I was ready to be a number one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, you know, as I said, like throughout the year, I had a couple opportunities. I didn't feel like they were the right time. I didn't feel like I had enough games at the time or whatever the situations were. Um, but I've always tried to look at my career in a long-term perspective as a long-term career. And I think like a high majority of players look at like the short term and the right now and what's the money right now, what's the best thing for me right now. And I've been very fortunate with my agent. We have a great relationship and we've both tried to like really look at situations for the long term, which sometimes can be difficult. So, I think for me, it took a little longer to get back to the MLS than I expected, especially putting the years back to back to back to back. So that I was putting like in terms of, on the field and how well, I felt like I was doing and it took a little longer than expected. There's a couple opportunities that kind of fell through. Like I put myself in Sacramento for a reason because they were supposed to go MLS like the next year after I got there, and they wanted me there for that, and that kind of fell through. And then, obviously I left there to go to Cincinnati, knowing that they were kind of the front runners at the time, and they kind of took over for Sacramento as the front runner to get MLS, and then had a really good year there, and then things kind of fell through for different reasons. But it kind of was frustrating at times because I was right there and felt like I deserved, and a lot might say I did deserve, and maybe some don't care, but there's just been, it kind of took a little longer than expected. I thought I'd go for 2 or 3 seasons, rack up some games and then get back in. But, everything you have to just have faith and everything happens at the right time. This I felt like was the right time for this move. And, Vancouver showed interest. They showed, they came and bought me, which shows that they value me and want me here for a reason. And so I felt like this was the right opportunity to make the move back in.
Yeah, what you were saying with looking at the long-term outlook instead of just the short term is incredible. I mean, that's really what more players and just people in general should be doing with their life and their goals. To get to position A, you can't just go straight to there. You have to take the steps, and like you're saying, that time down in the USL and then coming back, you wanted to come back and be the number one, and you feel that now this is your opportunity. You wanted to come back better. You wanted to come back as who you are now. I think that's a great way to look at the whole situation. And like I'm saying, I think if more players would take some time and just people in general would do the same thing and not try to take a shortcut and just feel that it's owed to them and really take the steps needed to earn it. It's people could go a lot farther, I mean,
Exactly.
and I think I speak on behalf of all Vancouver Whitecaps fans. They were all incredibly happy with your signing. So like you're saying, you're there for a reason. And I agree with that.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I appreciate it. And you know, I just speaking on that too, I think there's, and I say to a lot of, cause I now being 11-year veteran and kind of, being around for a while, like, I'll talk to a lot of young players, and I was actually just having a conversation today with a player and, just saying, hey man, like, you got to go play and show. And some guys, you know, they're skeptical, like, I don't know if I want to go to this league or what. I'm like, man, just go play, even if it's like it's gonna hit your ego a little bit, maybe, or it might, you know, whatever it is. But at the same time, like, a lot of players say that they can do it, and I can be this guy, and I can play at this level, and I can do all these things. But when push comes to shove, like, do you put your money where your mouth is, and do you really believe in yourself that much and trust that, like, hey, if I take this step backwards, I'm gonna crush it to get back forward? Because I think a lot of people, like, they get scared, like, oh, what happens if I don't? Well, don't have that. If you think you can do it, like, that shouldn't be a problem. If you go to a team in or division and you don't do it, that's on you. And then you shouldn't be where you are. So it's one of those things where, like, you know, go prove it and go get your games, go get your minutes, go get your experience, and, like, keep your name in people's mouths, because that's how you stay relevant. And then, you know, and go show what you can do. But really having true confidence in yourself is a little bit deeper than what I think a lot of people will lead on to be, you know. So
yeah, it's important to put the ego on the shelf, like you're saying.
yeah, and you got to truly have confidence in yourself to truly do that. Sometimes you got to, like, just be like, you know what, man, like, I don't care where I'm at, I'm gonna crush it, you know. But a lot of people they don't want to do that because they're scared they might not, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
deep down, that's what they're thinking. So you got to just go believe in your abilities and believe in your hard work, and sometimes that's what it takes. But yeah, man.
No, yeah.
Exactly. Now, being a goalkeeper, I gotta know, you've probably grown accustomed to some chants, you know, going from the opposition fans, you know, some heckle, stuff like that. Is there any chance that really, you know, pops up into your mind that were, you know, unique or funny or anything like that from opposing fans?
Yeah, I was thinking when you guys kind of sent some of the questions to, you know, to brief me before, I was trying to think of some, and it was tough. There's been obviously some great places to play and some cool things, you know, that some of the teams do. You know, when you go to Portland, Seattle, you know, Sacramento had some awesome fans. Cincinnati has amazing fans, and there's you know, many you know, places now that have fantastic fans. I haven't got to experience Vancouver fans yet, but I've heard they're fantastic as well. But yeah, man. The thing that comes to mind, I guess, is actually back to college, right? So we played at Maryland one year, and Maryland obviously is known to have a really good fan base. And they, you know, the second the game started, they had researched my mother. My mom was there, and it's funny because she went to the bathroom at halftime, and there was some girl in the bathroom, and she, like, knew it was my mom, and she goes, aren't you Newton's mom? Like, she, like, knew my mom in the bathroom. And my mom was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, like, how you feeling? Like, I know the chance kind of can be harsh, because they're, like, dogging my mom for, like, most of the game. And, you know, they'd done research on all these, you know, on my mom, on, like, girls I've dated. And it was just funny to hear,
that's
like,
the line right there. That's the line right there. Keep mom out of it. Yeah. That's a low blow.
But yeah, Maryland was solid, man. I remember, like, the second the game kicked off, the student supporter group that's, like, right behind the goal, both halves. They're, like, the second the whistle blew, this guy goes, he said he, like, just yelled at the top of his lungs. The rest of the stadium was silent because they knew, like, to wait. And he just goes, Evan, like, welcome. My name is so and so, and this is my crew. And for the next 90 minutes, we will be all over you. And then the whole place, like, erupts, like, and then they just, like, start, and it's just constant. You know, just, like, that was the one place. Usually, you can just tune it out for the most part, but that was one place where, like, I found myself at times during the game, like, actually listening to what they're saying, which is not what you want to be doing, you know. Because
you know it's going to be a long night. Yeah.
Does that motivate you, like, to be like, if they're, like, going against you, like the other opposing fans are, like, just trash on you all game long? Does that motivate you to do better, or does it actually get in your head and be like, oh, man, Jesus?
I mean, for me personally, like, I'm pretty good at tuning it out, and even sometimes I'll, like, turn back, you know, at some points and just kind of mess with the fans behind, and then that kind of turns them on your side. It's almost like reverse psychology. I'll kind of, like, joke with them and, like, so they're like, oh man, this guy's kind of cool. So they, like, take it a little bit. They take it a little bit easier on you. And then after the game, typically people will come up and be like, man, you're awesome. Like, you're so, you know, you're fantastic goalkeeper. Like it was fun. Like they'll like say stuff like that instead of like trashing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Complete
Like,
180. Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
that
So
Maryland game, I feel like even the Maryland game, like I would hate it, but at the same time, I kind of admire their commitment, for
Do the
like, just trying to
research,
get
yeah.
in your head. Yeah,
Put
but
in the work, in the books, get some info.
like I still remember, and this is what like how like they had me listening at times. Like they would do different chants, and like one of them they did sometimes wasn't a chant, but it was like every time the goalkeeper stepped, they like left, right, and
Ooh,
I still
that would mess
remember.
me up.
I still remember of like all these people back there. Probably, I think there's probably like 600 to 1,000 that would sit right in the stands, right behind the goal each half. And there's this one girl that like every time when like after I'd stop and then I'd restart, she'd always get which leg I stepped with wrong. So like 600-800 people all said right, and there's this one girl that would always be like left, right, like she would like mess it up. But I still remember there was always one girl that could never get it right, But that's I was listed. They had me a little bit, So
yeah, I mean, joking aside, that'd be the one that would get me. It'd be messing up everything for me. Now,
I wanted
as we were
to
saying before,
sprinting in place at one point, but I didn't want to get too crazy. Just to mess with them, just like fast feet.
So like the shuffle out there,
just start breaking out.
Yeah.
Being a veteran in the soccer community, you've had a very notable career at both levels. How have you seen both leagues, with that being said, and both just the game in general? How have you seen it changed in your time?
Yeah, obviously, I think that the quality of players getting better, all around. I think players in the U.S. are getting a better understanding of the game, like better knowledge of the game. More young players coming in and teams trying to, develop younger players and, obviously using it to sell players. And now you can clubs can make money like on transfer markets where, maybe 10 years ago, it was a lot more rare. Also, I think just in terms of the game, using a goalkeeper, playing out the back, that's probably the last 3-4 years, really, that's like really come into even worldwide, that wasn't huge up until a few years ago. I think Man City kind of was like the first people to really, really start using the goalkeeper excessively and as another field player to really open the game up. So I loved it when that kind of happened because it allowed me to start showcasing my feet. And I was fortunate to, at Indy, we really used that and played that style. And so I was really able, I think, in the last few years to showcase my feet where I maybe wasn't able to as much from that standpoint. Obviously, hitting accurate long balls and being, good with my feet at times. But it wasn't like a constant thing throughout the game that, teams that you leaned on as a team, and that was part of the system that you played. So people that would play with me on the teams would know I had good feet, but like I wasn't able to showcase it on kind of national level. So I think Indy was a good place for me to really like showcase it even more on a national level. And that's kind of how we play here in Vancouver. Is the goalkeeper has to be competent with their feet and to play in the system. So it fits me well,
Yeah, exactly. That's good to hear. And again, back to Vancouver. Vancouver's known for a lot of different activities, in the summer, hiking and kayaking, then in the winter, skiing and snowboarding. Is there anything you're looking forward to off the field rather than on the field in Vancouver?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's actually something that I'm really excited about with my family. My wife hasn't traveled too much. She stayed kind of in the Long Island bubble for her whole life. And then obviously went to ODU for college. So that was the first time she really like left home or traveled outside of New York too much, and then, after college went to Charlotte. So she's only really been, I think she went to the Bahamas once for like a girls trip, but that doesn't really count yet. You're at like a resort. That's not really,
Doesn't
me
count.
being someone that's traveled quite a bit in my life. I just really think it's like important. I think it's awesome. It's important to travel. I think it's huge for growth and culture and development. And just kind of seeing like the world and having a different appreciation. So I'm really excited. Like my wife's never been out of the country. And I've actually never lived outside the country, and I know Canada is not like super different, but it's still a different country on different money and definitely some different things. So I'm just really excited for that experience with my family. I think it'd be great for the kids. I think it'd be really cool to see a lot of those things with the wife to do all those things you're talking about. There's so much to do in Vancouver. Outdoors, indoors, like so many activities. So I'm just excited to experience a new country with my family. I think it's gonna be really fun.
Now, just as a side question, actually, you were saying with your kids and everything, and this is a big move. Is this how hard is that for like the kids to do? Like, do they just go with the flow, or is it tough kind of leaving home and moving again?
Yeah. I mean, my son's 1, so it's going to be a while before he really like cares.
Oh,
I think.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't even know this.
He didn't know what's going on right now.
Just snap the whole plane right up.
Right. He's just going with the flow. My daughter's 7, so it's a little different, but I think still at this age, like, for me, I think like the middle school years, obviously definitely high school, you want to kind of start settling a little bit. So we still got a good amount of time with her in terms of what I believe is, a time to really settle. I think this is also huge for her to go experience different culture and learn about a different country. And I think and she enjoys it. She seems to always love it when we have moved, and she embraces it well, and she's good with change. My wife she's still growing into that stuff. It's every time it's been a little easier, but it's kind of out of her comfort zone. She's more of she likes her stuff. She likes her routine, and change is a little bit harder for her. So she's getting used to it. But yeah, the kids have been, it's obviously harder to move when you have kids, but in terms of like their lifestyle, I don't think it's really affected. I think if anything, it's gonna help.
Vancouver's a great place.
Their development as people, their development as people, and my daughter has traveled a ton now, and you can all over the country, and now she's gonna live in a different country. So it's cool. I think she loves it.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about this being your next chapter of your life, being in Vancouver. Now we're focused on the next chapter. Let's talk about the past, the blast from the past. You're from Virginia Beach, you were saying before the interview started. Now, I've never been to Virginia Beach. I've driven through Virginia, and I know they are famous for multiple things. That 3-mile boardwalk they have, and also they are the seafood capital of the world. I'm like a seafood devotee. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could easily be pescatarian.
Yeah.
I think it is. That's when they only eat fish, right?
I think so.
I mean, I could do that in a heartbeat. Yeah. I mean, I love my burgers, but give me like some salmon and some seafood, I'm there. But with that being said, is it true?
Yeah.
You gotta let me know. Most important question I could ever ask you: is the seafood in Virginia Beach really that good? And if so, what's your favorite dish back home?
Seafood back home really is that good. It's fantastic, and I don't think I really truly like realized it and respected it until I started moving. I just thought that was annoying. Here's the little guy.
Oh, there he goes.
He wants to get involved. But
future athlete, yeah.
Next episode.
I don't think I really appreciated it fully until I started moving, But yeah, it's fantastic. There's a restaurant back home called Croker's that's like legendary, down off by the beach, and I try to get there every time. Whenever I do go home, I try to at least eat there, at least once. But yeah, man, it's pretty darn good. It's fresh. It's nice. It's very nice. I mean, there's probably some decent seafood in Long Island as well. You're there on the water.
Yeah,
we are in the bay. Obviously, go over to Fire Island, which is a place that I still have yet to go, but I heard it's
really
fantastic in the summer.
Yeah, no, Fire Island's great. Yeah,
I've yet to experience, but I keep hearing my family, my in-laws continually tell me I need to check it out. But yeah, on the other side of Fire Island is now the ocean, so I'm sure there's great seafood up in Long Island. At least the stuff I've had is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a recommendation. If you ever do come to Long Island, wait. First of all, have you been to Long Island?
Yeah, we try to get there like once a year. Yeah,
that's good. Now, on Long Island, there is a town called Northport. Your wife definitely has heard of it. It's right on the water. It's this little bay, or I guess port rather. There's a restaurant called Rock and Fish, and that's probably the best seafood we have here on Long Island. Overall, seafood places over here are kind of pop up. You never really know, but Rock and Fish,
it's
amazing.
Always on. It's always on.
Yeah, it's always on. Rock and Fish in Northport Village.
Northport, huh?
Really good. I'm telling. delicious. I
Okay.
go like probably once a week just for the mussels. Like it's so good,
Oh,
man.
really? Wow.
Yeah. But like you
Yeah.
were saying, not knowing how good it is until you leave it. Again, your wife could tell you this: New York, Long Island, greatest pizza in the world. I don't care what they say about Connecticut and
Pizza,
Chicago's
yeah.
got that deep, like what is it, deep dish pizza?
I don't even consider that pizza, dude.
It's not pizza; it's in a dish. You know.
Have you had the So I'm a big Barstool. I like watching Barstool pizza reviews.
Mhm.
So have you been over there to Connecticut to
I've
you
had
know to New
Connecticut
Haven
pizza
where
once. Yeah,
because he
that's the
considers New
accent.
Haven
Yeah.
like he considers New Haven the pizza capital. You know,
Mhm.
I had it once, major disappointment. That's all I'm
I
gonna
really want
say.
to check. Do what?
Major disappointment. I had it once. I might be
Which
biased.
one did
Again,
you
I'm from
have?
Long Island. I can't
Which
remember. It was
place did you have?
somewhere. It was somewhere in Connecticut. It was a long time ago, but again, it
Yeah.
didn't spark my interest.
I
really.
used to know a girl who went to New Haven College, which is actually in West Haven. I don't know why it's called New Haven because there's a town called New Haven, but it's in West Haven. But anyway, I had the pizza there. I think it was called like Pizza Jonos or Pizza Bonos or something. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's the best pizza. It's the best pizza. It's open 24 hours." Now, just immediately there, any pizzeria that's open 24 hours, you got a
I was
bunch of
just about to
different
say
cooks
that.
there. If it's open 24 hours, I don't know. I'm on the fence here, but it could be really good. So I went in there, high hopes. I had 2 different slices. And it was good. It was good. Is it better than any pizza I found on Long Island? No. Is it better than any pizza in
So
Brooklyn? No. Was it okay? It was
what's the
okay.
spot? What's the spot in Long Island? Because obviously there's Satellite, which is like the chain. But what's like the
Mhm.
spot?
For
I
me
live on Long Island
personally,
now. You see, I'm throwing out Satellite.
Yeah, dude, you hit me with it. Yeah, you know it.
I'm getting the respect there. I'm getting some respect.
The Long Islanders.
for me though, personally, Little Vinny's is the place to be.
Yes,
The
in
pizza's
Huntington.
amazing. They got
Mhm.
the little breadcrumbs on it too. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely Little Vinny's.
Oh,
You go to
wow.
Long Island, you gotta hit that spot.
Growing up, there was a
Little
really good
Vinny's.
pizzeria place right in there where I live. And I used to go there quite often. And then there was this one day, you were with me too. We went there and it was just gone. Like the building was gone, everything was gone. I was just like, I know there's a pizzeria here. And every single person I've ever brought this pizzeria up to, they're like, never heard of it, never seen it. Over there was no pizzeria there. What are you talking about? It's like the Twilight Zone, but with like incredibly good pizza.
Wow.
That was the Phantom Pizza, yeah.
Yeah, the Phantom Pizza. Yeah, it was great. But
You're
yeah,
like,
Little
start
Vincent's.
questioning yourself. You start questioning
Yeah, I'm like,
yourself.
where
Like,
was
is this
I?
real?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. I'm like, what's going on
Pizza
here?
was so good, it put you into a different dimension, dude.
Yeah, that's what it was
That's what
like.
happened.
It's like an episode of like freaking Morty. Yeah, like you would walk in, it was just this
Yeah, I
one
had,
old guy and a pinball table. Oh, so good.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was
I had
incredible.
so on the Barstool, he like obviously I don't know if you've seen his pizza reviews, but he rates them and stuff. So when I was in I went on loan, with NYCFC for the Champions League in
Mhm.
December, and I have a good friend that lives in like the New Rochelle area there.
Yep.
What is it? It's like New Rochelle and what's the other like town like they're kind of together.
There's New Rochelle, there's Queens over there. I'm not. You have any other kind of information there? Because there's so
But
many.
anyway, but um, but we went to a place called like I think it was Johnny's Pizza or something, or it was like on the it had like a 9.1 review on Barstool, which is like huge.
That's good. Yeah,
If
that's good rating.
if he give he's on, I mean he's done like probably 1,000 reviews. I've only seen him give maybe like five or eight like nines, right?
Yeah.
So my buddy Michael Dalpra, he was in the residency with me, and he coaches now with the academy at NYCFC. And once I got there, like we hung out one day, and he took me. He was like, "Hey, we gotta like let's go check this out." And I was like, "Yeah, man." Like I was like, "I want to check this pizza place out." 9.1. It was like 8 minutes from his place. So it was like cash only. It was like a 4-hour like call in wait. Somehow we
Oh, man.
finagled our way in. And like kind of chirped them up a little bit and like chatted like a little bit of charm, and like they made a pizza for us real quick on the sneak, like 2
On the
cheeses.
sneak.
and like we just waited in the car for like 30 minutes, which was crazy. But like this pizza was insane, man. Like it was just insane, dude. It totally warranted the 9 point and justified like the 9.1 rating, but just the crust was like thin, but it was crunch. It was like crunchy.
That's the best. The crust makes it all. The crust makes it all. Yeah.
The sauce was great, but the sauce to cheese ratio was top notch. I literally like I I crushed like a large, but like I felt like I'd go run like 5 miles. Like it was like you didn't feel like heavy. You know what I mean? Like a lot of pizza, you feel like awful after you eat. This one, I like almost felt like it was like healthy, which I obviously it's not, but it didn't feel that bad.
Yeah, I mean, life's about chasing that slice. So,
level.
what is this place called? Johnny's? Because I gotta chase that slice.
I think it was Johnny's. Yeah, I think it was Johnny's over in like God, what is that? It's
because that's the only problem. And there's probably like a million Johnny's pizzerias in New York, you know.
Do you guys have the look? Do you have like a computer on you right now, like the internet? You could just
on me right Google, now. I don't.
Yeah, if you just Google, just do Barstool Pizza like Johnny's, and then
I'm about to go all through 1,000 reviews there. I'm gonna find this place.
Yeah. Anyway, sure. Let me know how you like it. Let me know how you like it, but it's good.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, we'll send the slice up there.
Yeah, I guess
send me a couple of frozens.
Yeah.
I guess with that too, that just about sums up all our questions. Do you have any thoughts, messages for this upcoming season with the Whitecaps?
Yeah, man. No, I just appreciate you guys having me. It's always fun chatting and meeting new people, and I appreciate you guys, following my career. It's very humbling, and it's just crazy now to be 11 years in, and God willing, many more years. So I'm just trying to enjoy the journey, but I'm excited for here in Vancouver, and it's just right now it's a bit of a patient time for me here, and just getting ingrained and waiting my time. But I'm excited. It's a good group of guys, and I'm just excited for the rest of the season. We've had a good start. Hopefully we can keep it rolling. But yeah, man, it's been good so far, and looking forward to the rest of the year.
Yeah, once you make your debut, we definitely have to have you on again. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Great, definitely great.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, guys, and shoot me a follow on your personals if you want on Instagram, and then I'll try to get you to hook up with my sister-in-law if you want. So
I'm always down.
Okay, man.
Yeah, man.
Long Island for the win. All right.
Yeah, these Long Island girls they're something else, man. I tell you what. So,
it's the water. It's the same reason the pizza and the bagels are good.
Yeah. Something's in the water down on Long Island.
I don't know how you guys do it. These girls are feisty sometimes. So
oh yeah.
Depends if it's Suffolk or Nassau County. But, yeah. Depends how close you are to the city.
Yeah.
Nah, but I appreciate you guys having me, man. And
appreciate you coming on.
Take care, and we'll definitely chat soon.
Major Stokeage.
We're here, guys. Major Stokeage. You could say the best segment in podcast history.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but realize, bro, that you kind of jumped the gun a little bit before.
Hey, bang, man. I really did jump the gun. I was just really excited to get on with this. And also, there's a great game going on tonight with the San Jose Quakes. And that's kind of why I'm jumping the gun here, because I kind of want to go watch it. I have a lot of their players on my fantasy team. So I'm kind of trying to get the hell out of here.
I feel you, man. And with that, should we go to the first level of the Stokeage meter?
First level, Major Stokeage. You want to talk about this? Because this is absolutely legendary.
Yes, man. This definitely stoked me up. Again, Matt Besler, after the game, he versed SKC. Again, right now he's on Austin. He was the former SKC captain. And after the game, he had a t-shirt. Well, not a t-shirt, actually, a jersey that had the number 5 on it, and it said thank you, and he gave it to the Cauldron, which is their supporters section.
Of course.
SKC's. And then he also wrote a handwritten letter to them and gave it to them. And it was actually released not too long ago.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Handwritten. I mean, that's passion. That's passion in your penmanship. They didn't just type this up with Types New Roman.
Yeah,
this comes from the heart.
Passion. It's everything right there. If this was typed, it wouldn't have made the Major Stokeage meter. But because it was written, dude, it shows that he actually he had to take a little bit of time, and it was him writing it. It wasn't somebody else.
I really enjoyed that, too. I think that was just a very feel-good moment from this past week.
He might have been a ghost during that game, but he definitely doesn't have a ghostwriter because he wrote that from the heart, and it was a beautiful letter. If you guys haven't checked it out, go on Twitter and check that baby out because it was amazing.
I like that thing there, Ghost Rider.
You like that?
Yeah, that's going to haunt me tonight as we move up to the second level of the Stoke meter. We have something here that I actually wrote down over here. Sporting Kansas City. This is incredible. Guys, wait for this. Children's Mercy Park is set to be open for full capacity beginning on May 29th. How awesome is that? Fans, if they belong anywhere, it's inside of a soccer stadium. No matter what sport you root for, I feel like universally, everybody can agree there's nothing like the atmosphere in a soccer stadium. I mean, it's incredible. The bowl, when it fills up, is just a ton of fun.
Exactly, man. In soccer, I feel like the fans make such a big difference.
They do.
It can make or break a game. If you have a really bad fan base, your team's not going to have that energy, to win at the late game, to win in the last 10 minutes of the game.
And that's why, like, look at the Portland Timbers, Providence Park. You're going to Providence Park, you're shitting yourself if you're the other team.
Exactly.
You don't want to be playing in Providence Park. Their supporter section, their fans just in general, they don't even need a supporter section because the stadium alone is a supporter section.
It's awesome to see fans back in the stands. I think with Sporting KC, May 29th is the first game where they're going to have 100% capacity. And they always fill up that stadium as well. So it's going to be nothing new.
Do you know off the top of your dome how that's going to work? Is this half vaccinated, half not vaccinated? Because I don't really understand how it's supposed to work.
I know some teams are having like armies of vaxxed and non-vaxxed on opposite sides of the field, which is quite weird if you ask me.
Now, what if you're in the supporter section?
It brings up a lot of questions. I feel like it's totally not going to work. I say just bring everybody in because what they're trying to do, some of these teams, I know Yankee Stadium is trying to do it, it's just not going to work at the end of the day. There's just too much confusion.
And what about like when you go to a hallway? You know what I mean?
It makes
like when you
sense.
want you're only going to cut the place in half? Like what if I want to go to Slim Jim Tim's?
Yeah.
But I'm not vaccinated, so now I can have Slim Jim Tim's?
Well, then the strategy would be just going on the side that has the least amount of people because then the lines are going to be super short. Like literally.
Exactly. Oh, that's actually a genius move.
It is ingenious.
There's just a lot of problems with that. Should we move on to level 3?
Let's do it. This is Ultimate Stokeage, everybody. The moment you guys have been waiting for.
Is.
And it is El Trafico.
LAFC and LA Galaxy probably going to be renamed if you guys saw the beginning of this episode. LASC.
It probably will.
Don't joke on it.
Again, crazy rebrands, but this was amazing what happened. In this game, El Trafico, we live streamed it. Chicharito with a bang in the first 10 minutes. And then Jonathan Dos Santos. Both of them, Mexican players, Mexican synergy, both scoring the goals. And you just saw what it meant to Jonathan Dos Santos scoring that winning goal. He took off his shirt. He sacrificed that yellow card. He didn't care. And he got that goal for his squad.
I mean, talk about Mexi melting my heart. I mean, when he took off that shirt and they gave him the yellow card, I just admired that whole move there. I'm like, he knew what was going to happen. He's just like, I'm doing this.
Bro,
I'm doing this. Give me the card. I don't care. If it's a red card, I'm doing it.
Bro, is that a play on words with Taco Bell, the Mexi Melt?
Oh, it is? I think they're bringing back the Mexi Melt.
They have to. I feel like Taco Bell has definitely went downhill. They definitely have to bring it up a notch.
Yeah, I feel like they get rid of everything that's good. I feel like all places do that. Like once they see like people really like something, they're like, oh, sorry, taking this away. Like what? Like why? That's why I come here.
It kills me, man. Especially those Slurpees that they had at McDonald's not too long ago. I think it was like a coupon. It was like a 2 for 2, man. It was a crazy special.
See, I'm not the biggest Mickey D's guy, but I vibe more with like Wendy's.
Do you know?
I do. Didn't they change the logo too, right?
No, not that logo.
Oh, okay. I thought they did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, moving on.
Should we go into major disappointments?
Yes, we should.
Major disappointments.
I want to make an announcement. Over that intermission, when we were just making that transition, I pulled up my phone and I showed my co-host here how Wendy's actually did change their logo. I believe you owe me an apology.
Not really to you, but to Wendy herself. Again, I didn't think there was a change. It was such a small change, though.
Yeah.
So discreet. Like the only way you could actually tell is if like somebody was a regular going to Wendy's since like 1990. That's the only way you could tell that there was a change.
1999 right here. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they changed her, the collar on her shirt. I mean, if anything, that's disrespectful. Like it said mom or something, allegedly. That's such a weird thing to be upset about.
Especially Mother's Day was last week. That's just a weird way to, kind of.
And Wendy's
praise
been
the
wearing
moms.
that shirt for quite some time. I mean, she probably liked it, and now you're just taking it away from her. If anything, it's sexist because now you're telling her what she can't wear.
Exactly. It's just not a good look. Shall we go to the disappointing, though? The disappointment meter.
First major disappointment.
Wendy.
And now the second one's still part of the first one. This is DC United. You want to talk about this here?
Yeah, dude. Again, DC United. Horrible start to the season, but that's not why we have them here for this first level of major disappointment. It's because of all the own goals they have been scoring. They have 5 goals on the season, and they have 3 own goals on the season, man.
Yeah.
Own goal is their top goal scorer this season.
I know, and that's honestly probably the greatest stat of all time. I mean, how just ridiculous is that?
It's insane.
And now moving on to the second major disappointment. Oh my God, it is Inter Miami, currently 1-2-2 on the season. This is inexcusable. I don't know how these things happen, and I don't know why they're happening to this team. Anybody who had Higuain on their MLS Fantasy, I know you did. I'm so sorry about that. This was a strange game overall. You lose in midweek? Come on.
But just like this DC United, that wasn't the main reason why they're on this meter. It's because of the 2-hour lightning delay. Again, they're playing in Miami Stadium. All the fans are there. They're super stoked to watch their team. They have to wait 2 hours.
Ridiculous.
And then they see their team lose anyway, 2-0
Ridiculous.
against Montreal, who isn't really a good team. But it's kind of weird, though, because Montreal is kind of playing at home as well, as Montreal has been playing their home games and into Miami. So neither team was an away team, which is quite interesting. But Miami, what are you doing? The Higuains, they have to step it up again. They have to step it up a level. You know, I feel like, just like Chicharito, the passing of his grandfather, I feel like the passing of, their loved one.
Yeah, their mother.
Do some damage.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Federico and Gonzalo, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, I do feel for them, honestly. That's a horrible thing. And it's just, what are you going to do now? If you're not fit to play, don't play.
And again, I just feel for their fans, man. Waiting for 2 hours. The game ended like 12 o'clock at night.
Can you imagine
crazy.
that? I mean, that's
it
tough.
Sucked.
That's tough. You want to take it to the third level here?
Let's go to the third level, everybody, of the disappointment meter.
And to everybody's surprise here, it's actually Atlanta United. I mean, you go back to when they joined the league and how they just used to tear it up. And now looking at them now, nobody would have ever thought they'd be this high on the major disappointment meter.
Exactly. And unlike the others, there is no hidden meeting. They just suck. So that's why they're here.
They suck. They are here because they are terrible right now.
Again, they tied against Inter Miami 1-1, and they have a record of 1-2-1. And maybe it's not due to their coach, as Gabriel Heinz is their new coach, and they still suck. Maybe Frank de Boer wasn't to blame. Maybe it's just their players.
Okay, I'm so happy you said that, because that's what I said when they chopped them. Frank de Boer, I absolutely loved him, and I thought he was a great coach. Things sometimes are just out of a coach's control. I mean, you're coaching the team, you're telling the players what to do, but now it's up to the players to actually execute the plan. And it's looking like, to me, that Atlanta United has to drop the ego and start listening a little better and following the roles ordered to them by their coaches.
There's just no plan. They're kicking the can right now.
Yeah, I like that.
Again, their only win was to Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire, out of all teams, that's not an achievement. They won 3-1, and even Chicago played pretty good against them. Yeah. So they had to pick it up, and then also in the CCL, man, you saw it against Philly, got absolutely destroyed at home, and then tying them at Subaru Park, 4-1 in aggregate. Yeah. Just Atlanta United, you got to step it up. You kind of suck right now. And I had you guys placing second in my Eastern Conference predictions.
I was happy to say I did not, but I did the voice work for it anyway.
Exactly, dude. I had them second.
What a strange season so far.
And it's not looking like it. Again, though, all our takes, take them with a grain of salt, as we're still only 4 or 5 games into the season.
Of course.
So everything we're saying right now is, off the cuff, on the dime.
Real Salt Lake could win the cup for all we know. We don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
I mean, anything could happen.
Let's go over to, I would say, our second interview.
Yeah, the second interview again. Goalie weekend. Let's look at it.
Jake Leeker, everybody.
Okay.
We are currently here with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds goalkeeper, Leeker the Keeper, Jake Leeker. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. We're really looking forward to doing this all day. For the people who aren't familiar with you just yet, because again, you are still pretty young in your professional career as a soccer player, how would you describe yourself as a player? And can you walk us through what it was like walking up through the ranks, getting to where you are now in your career?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. My story is like a little bit different than most people's, just because of sort of I guess it's similar to a lot of goalkeepers and their route, like up the ranks, because I feel it's more difficult than sort of some of these other guys in other positions. But basically, I grew up in St. Louis. I started playing for St. Louis Scott Gallagher and their academy. When I was like one of the first academy guys there when that first formed. And then I ended up committing to the University of Memphis, spent 5 years there. And then I would spend my summers playing in Des Moines, Iowa in the PDL for the Des Moines Menace. I don't know if you've heard of them. But then along the road, you just make connections and stuff. And I was really close to the head coach there. And I think John Pasquarella, he's now with the head coach of the OKC Energy. And basically, he was one of the guys who really pushed for me to get an invite to preseason with RSL. But I was expecting to get drafted, and it ended up being my name wasn't called. And so my dad and I sat down, because I thought my career was over at this point. And so my dad and I sat down, and we literally sent out a typed out letter to every single MLS team and USL team, and then I got responses from RSL and then the Timbers actually. And then I ended up choosing RSL because that's where my PDL coach told me to go to, and so it ended up working out kind of funny that I ended up in Portland later on. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got to the pro ranks, I guess. It was like a little bit difficult, but yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying, that's definitely a different story than from I guess most other players in the leagues
Yeah,
and surrounding leagues would have.
like right now, hey, I'm 6'5", I'm a goalkeeper from University of Memphis. Like, come take a look at me, please. Trying to get any sort of like exposure possible, but luckily, all it takes is like one guy to believe in you and take a chance on you, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, you're golden after that. It's like writing those letters. I mean, look where it's gotten you, and it's definitely something everybody. If you don't hear your name getting called during those drafts, that's the way to go about it.
Keep trying,
keep going for it. Don't give up on your dreams there.
I know a lot of guys who've done that, and all it takes is for one coach to be like, "Oh, okay, he sounds interesting. I will bring you out." And I was literally, I wasn't offered a contract or anything. I was just like, "Hey, yeah, you can come out and practice for us for a couple of days." And then it ended up they offered me a contract after a couple of days, and that's how it all started. But you can't expect to get drafted and stuff, even if you do, it doesn't mean you're getting signed. It just means you're getting an invite to preseason. So as long as you just get like one coach to like take a chance on you, you better run with it.
That's awesome to hear,
No,
man.
yeah, like again, very interesting story actually.
And now growing up, like way back when, were you always a goalkeeper? Because I know a lot of kids like playing the outfield, playing striker, trying to score goals. Did you have a different position, or were you always a goalkeeper since day one?
No. I think if you ask most goalies that, they'll go back and reminisce on those days they were out there on the field running around and stuff. But I miss it too. It looks so fun over there with the field players during practice. So I'm looking over there and like, oh, that looks fun. But I started off as a center back actually. But
really?
I made the transition fairly young. It was actually Jim Kavanaugh, one of the owners for the St. Louis, the MLS team coming out. He was my coach growing up. And so he was actually the one who got me to start playing goalie. And I was like, I must have been like 10 years old. We were out in some like field in the middle of nowhere. Our goalie goes down. He's like, who wants to play goalie? And I was like, sure, I'll try it. And after that, it was like, that's it. I'm playing goalie.
Yeah, love at first sight. Yeah.
And now with being a goalkeeper, it's one of the most pressure-filled positions, in all of sports, really. If you make a mistake, everybody and their grandma knows that you made it, which kind of sucks being a goalkeeper. Now, with that, how do you deal with all this pressure on your shoulders each and every game? It's just kind of like a mentality.
It's absolutely a mentality. That's like one of the, for me, that was like one of the hardest things sort of to get right. And it's still affects me. It's still like something I need to work on because like everyone, like, personally, like when you make a mistake and like other people are of course going to like pile on, they always do. But like mentally to like block that out. But I'm so hard on myself. Like it doesn't really matter what they say. But like I've had coaches, Aiden Brown with Timbers 2 really helped me sort of like deal with this aspect of it. And every time I would make a mistake in practice, he'd just be like, next one, just like forget about it. No, because like he could see in my body language, which was a big thing. So once you start changing your body language, then the mental sort of side of things come along with it, because then you're realizing like what you're doing, you're like dwelling on it and all that sort of stuff. So if you like really want to know, it's like you broke it down like so in so much detail. There's a lot more that goes into it than people think.
Yeah, one thing I've always said is the goalkeeper position, aside from being the most critiqued position, as you were saying on the field, is definitely one of the most unappreciated positions on the field.
The least paid.
Yeah. Yeah, someone's got to do something about that, right?
Yeah.
Got to get on that, man. Because one of my problems is, and of course you've probably dealt with this too, you go out there, you play your heart out, your team loses 1-0, you let up one goal. the first thing, all those comments online, all those fans in the stands, they're blaming the goalkeeper for letting that one goal in that he quote unquote should have had. But the team in front of you didn't help you out by not scoring a goal, And that just goes back to what we were saying is the number one guy always to blame for the loss. It always comes down to the goalkeeper. And that's just like you're saying, it's just not fair. And hey, maybe if they up the pay, you can, turn a blind eye to it, and be like, whatever.
Exactly. Now, you've been playing again. We brushed over this before, with the Portland Timbers too, Real Monarchs, and now recently with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So now in the USL, you've been in the league for quite some time now, a couple of years. Have you seen the league change in any way, either on the field or off the field in the USL?
Man, this league is changing like so quickly. From my first year to now, it is expanded so much, like sort of the just even the small details behind it. I was also like a USL Players Union rep with the Timbers, and sort of just like this whole negotiations with COVID and everything. And we're like actually coming together as a union. We have a voice. And this, like, apart from that, like we're working on a CBA agreement and stuff. And then apart from that, the quality of play has just been going up and up. The quality of players that have just been coming through the ranks, and you guys have seen like more and more guys in the USL are getting pushed on to the MLS. I was watching this like off season, the amount of guys from the USL teams, especially goalies, that are just getting pushed up to the MLS, it's increasing drastically because people are starting to realize it's like a good level. And I would say there's big differences going from like an MLS 2 team versus like an independent USL team, I would say. Because with like the MLS 2 teams, you typically get like 10 to 12 signed guys, and then you'll have academy players, and then they'll send down like first team guys. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of turnover and not a regular lineup and stuff. And so when you switch over to like an independent team like the USL Riverhounds, like the guys you're practicing with every day, like they're it. Like that's your squad. That's who you're competing with, and every day in and day out, that's who you're competing with. And so it's just a little bit different. And, you got some older guys. Like I think there's more experience with the Riverhounds, especially because of the age difference and all that sort of stuff. So, but overall, like you have like young talent. I mean, we're mixing with young talent as well. It's just the quality just keeps going up here, and it's really impressive actually, the speed that it's doing it.
Yeah, would you say too, again, you said where with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, it's more like close-knit because it's not like a second team. So do you like that better, how it's like the same guys each and every practice and stuff like that?
I really do, because it allows you to sort of work on things that you wouldn't be able to, because you got guys sometimes, like I would train with the first team quite a bit, but then I would train with T2 and it'd sort of be like all over the place a little bit. And the guys with the Monarchs as well, but the guys that would come down wouldn't really have a full understanding of like the tactics and sort of exactly what, like, and who like the scout and who we're playing against, and sort of like all this stuff that is like pretty important. But like with the Riverhounds, that's all everyone is focused on.
Yeah, of course.
That's like all we're focused on is who we're playing against, how are we going to win that game, and the best way to do that. And that's I think it allows us to like focus a little bit more on ourselves. So yeah.
I mean, it sounds like there's more of a sense of sportsmanship and unity with what you're saying there. And unless you have something to add to that, the next question I want to get into would be, again, one of the downsides, or maybe upsides, if you would rather rephrase this, of being a goalkeeper. You have fell victim to a ton of chance in that position. Maybe not you directly, but always for goalkeepers in almost every sport. I see this, that attendee is present on the field or on the ice, whatever sport you're playing. The opposing team's fans are ripping at you for every little thing you do. Even if you're on top of your game, they're getting in your head. Have you had one that has really just stood out to you as funny, or just, I guess, unique rather?
Yeah.
I've had a few good ones. A lot of them are probably pretty inappropriate. I don't know if I can repeat them.
Yeah, I was gonna say keep it PG.
So the ones that are PG, it's always fun. I love, honestly, it gives me sort of like an energy when the other team fans are like heckling me a little bit, just because like I've been used to it so much, it just like runs off my back. And if they're actually like picking on me a little bit, I think maybe I'm doing something right. And so it sort of like gives me a little bit of incentive, I guess. The more I'm hearing them, the more that means I'm doing well. So, but as far as like creative stuff, a lot of it is not PG, but I'll say the Jake from State Farm one is always a classic.
That is good.
They take advantage of my last name like crazy, man. You know how many times I've heard like, "Oh, Leeker, you've leaked a goal. What are you doing?"
And see, it's not even creative at that point, you know. It's just going for the first thing they say.
I heard the last guy say that last weekend. Well, you're not creative at all. So
yeah, just turn back, flip him the birdie, and go on with your game. But now into another question. We were talking about Pittsburgh a little prior to this, and just a couple moments ago as well between me and you. Sacramento. They have now fallen out of MLS. They were going to be the 30th team. There was some issues along there, and it's still a possibility. I mean, it's terrible, but now that opens a window now for another team. And we've always spoke about how highly of Pittsburgh could be for a soccer market, and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. You know, we've supported them. And I'm wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat right now. We got a Penguins flag back here. So we've always been big advocates of Pittsburgh. Do you think the Riverhounds can show enough to, you know, Commissioner Don Garber? Is there a chance somewhere along the way you can see maybe the Pittsburgh Riverhounds being promoted from the USL to the MLS? Or do you think it's just fantasy?
Oh, no, you're not the first people that have brought this up to me. So there are sort of like rumors going around that I've been hearing that the MLS is interested. They've been sort of scoping it out just to try to see if this is a good place to bring a team. Me personally, based on all the other professional teams that are here, like it would thrive. I mean, people.
That's what I've said.
They're obsessed. Every single one. So, and I haven't even gotten to experience, like as far a home game even for us properly, like because this is my first year here, so we're not even done with preseason yet. We haven't even had fans in our games and stuff yet. So, I hear we pack our stadiums out, and I think that. Yeah, as long as we keep doing that and keep winning, like, why not? Like, this town loves sports. They love it.
And not only does the city love sports, the whole state of Pennsylvania does. Yeah. And one of the strongest arguments I think Don Garber and the MLS should really look into is people love in-state rivalries. I mean, look at Jersey, look at NYCFC, right? Now, with even other sports, you want to talk about just Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, for example. Yeah, Philadelphia Union, that would be a perfect matchup.
I don't even know. I don't even know who the rival is right now. But
it would be perfect.
Yeah, it would be one of those if they're looking for a good market, like good viewership. You know, the entire state of Pennsylvania will be watching that.
Exactly, it would be great. It would draw so many eyes to the television and fans to the games. I mean, people love complaining and hating one another. It'd be perfect. I mean, Flyers and the Penguins, the Eagles and the Steelers. This is what you're missing. It's perfect. The Union and the Riverhounds. Make it happen, right?
That'd actually be awesome.
Yeah.
And also your hometown, St. Louis, got an expansion team as well. You know, the 29th team in Major League Soccer. Are you happy with that? And do you think soccer can thrive in St. Louis, being, you know, a St. Louis native yourself?
Yeah, good question.
Oh, it's absolutely going to thrive. I don't know if you guys have sort of been there at all, but growing up, I haven't. Like the underlying roots of St. Louis is like soccer. You go, every single kid will go and will be in their like church leagues, their rec leagues. Like it's just the whole city is just obsessed with it, and I just know that it's gonna take off. It's gonna just like every sports team besides the Rams in St. Louis.
A little jab.
Yeah. The Cardinals, man, the Blues, like you watch them, like people are obsessed with it, you know, and
committed fans.
Yeah, just committed fans. And I just think the MLS, like these guys, I know so many of my friends are already talking about it. I think they set the record for an amount of season tickets sold in a certain amount of time already. So it's gonna blow up. It's gonna be big.
And you were talking about how the fans there and the residents of St. Louis are obsessed with that. Something we've been obsessed with right now is that color scheme in that badge. It looks so nice, that pink and blue. I mean, that's what you were looking for in a logo, in a badge. You know, I can't wait to see what their kits are going to look like.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really cool. It's unique, and I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely a big fan of that. And that kind of transitions into, I guess, my last question, unless there was something else you wanted to add
I think
beforehand.
the last question here.
Okay, so the last question I have for you is, again, as we were saying when this interview started, not even an interview, when this talk started, you're still relatively a young goalkeeper. So with that being said, you have a long career ahead of you, and you were talking about how excited you are right now with Pittsburgh and the rest of your career ahead of you. Do you have any short-term goals for this season? And again, long-term goals just as a player?
Yeah, well, so my short-term goals like will affect my long-term goals, right? So
Of course.
My short-term goals, and I was actually this is sort of like my mantra for the season that I'm going with, is that like you have to thrive like where you're currently at in order to get the opportunities later. So my whole focus right now is like winning and doing the best I can for Pittsburgh, the Riverhounds, and then those opportunities that of course I want to come, of course I want to go on to the next level. Those will come if I'm thriving here.
Exactly. It's all about the grind in the present to, get the final outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think with that just about sums up the questions. Do you have any messages or anything like that for this upcoming season with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds?
No, just keep watching us. We're gonna make some noise. We're sneaky good this year.
Hey, it's the
will.
Steel City. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's a sports town. It's one of the best sports town in the nation. So definitely rooting for you guys.
Again, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Thanks.
MLS Fantasy.
MLS Fantasy. Oh my God. I'm winning. You're winning. Everybody's winning. Are you winning?
This week I am winning.
Okay, you're winning this time.
Last weekend, dude, I won by a mere 4 points.
I mean, that's incredible.
And I kind of felt bad too because I was versing NYCFC fan. I think his name was Sandbaggers, and I beat him by a very small margin.
Yeah.
If anything, I thought I was going to get the tie for that, but I did get the win, so I'm kind of stoked about that.
Yeah, I mean, my team did pretty well overall. I've been lucky my first couple weeks
Let me bring
here.
you up, actually.
A lot of the players, teams, I guess I'm going up against were not even playing. So I kind of have a couple shutouts under my belt right now to start the season. But overall, right now, I'm currently sitting keen on 13th place. I'm hoping to move up tonight. Again, I'm trying to get to watch that goddamn game. I'm expecting a big game. I got everybody from Yule to Wando on my team, so I'm hoping for a big turnout here.
Again, you had really a true 0-to-hero moment. I think your first game was a loss, then you came back, 4-game winning streak right now.
That's
You're
right,
currently 4-1. You're in 13th. I'm in 17th with a 3-0-2. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to win this week. Again, I'm winning by like 40 points because we both have Carlos Hill as our captains.
Yeah, I'm up like 90 right now. Yeah, I mean, Hill's been incredible. I mean, honestly, one of the things that won me last week was it was actually more of a closer lineup against who I was playing. I believe I was up against James F. I believe that was. I just have like a mini stroke here. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was up against James F. last week. And Andre Blake, my Tendy, my keeper, I made him the captain, and he got me like over 20 points. And he really helped me out.
And then he persuaded me to put him on our team, or my team, and he only got 4 points right now.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
We'll see what happens. Again, it looked like he was going to get a lot of points, but then New England with the late tying goal to tie at 1-1 in that game. But real quickly, just again, first 2 places right here, we still have... what is that? We still haven't figured that out. I feel like we have to put that in Google Translate. Is that South Korean?
We don't know. Can somebody help us with this?
Yeah, we have an Austin FC fan in first place. Then we got Game of Stones, which is Billy Fwags, 13th place, and me in 17th place. And again, if you guys
you're a weather boy. That's why.
Well,
it shows your destiny.
Yeah, I'm looking good. And again, if you guys want to know a cheat code, Carlos Hill making your captain, he's automatically going to get you at least 15 points on the day.
Every week.
So good.
Every day. He's the man. Even when he's not playing.
Exactly. And I think with that kind of wraps this episode. There will be no Hogan hot takes. He will be in the next episode, as this episode is already very long with these 2 interviews, 2 goalkeepers, a goalkeeper bonanza, you could call it.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. I think it's the second time you used bonanza. That's such a rare word to use, and you used it twice in the same half hour.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a second word there. You saw that little pause I took, but I couldn't think of a word, so I just had to go back to bonanza.
Shot bonanza, that's fine.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
Again, it's very rare words, so I feel like that worked perfectly.
Yeah, that was pretty fly. I kind of like that. But yeah, this has been MLS Cafe. We're really hoping you guys are enjoying the series. And this was Goalie Weekend. Join us next week. We have a great guest lined up. We can't wait to have him on. And with that being said, also, everybody check out the benchkings YouTube. Let us know what you thought about MLS Jeopardy. And watch that, leave a comment, and maybe you can come on.
We will see you guys soon.
Yep, it's been great.
Peace.